New video shows the moment a Wauwatosa police officer had to chase after his own squad car. We have extreme heat heading our way. Temperatures expected well into the 90s tomorrow and Friday. Right now, the mayor is expected to lay out a plan for how to keep people all across the city safe during that heat wave. The prosecutor told us that quick deliberation, considering it was a 2-week trial, shows jurors were paying close attention to a very complex case. Dangerous or reckless drivers will regularly look out for squad cars, maybe slam on the brakes when they see one. But Trooper Simpson says they're not likely to be looking up for a plane. Is it going to be hot out today, Brian? I feel like the Cubs and Cardinals might be sweating a little bit this morning after that Brewers win last night. If you are going to be shopping today, what should you do to make sure as you're paying for these items that your credit card information stays safe? It took more than 3 decades, but investigators in Kenosha County finally identified a homicide victim found in a shallow grave back in the late 80s. The assembly is just starting its floor session, and they were supposed to start at 1 o'clock. So it really has been a day of a lot of waiting, a lot of delays here at the Capitol. Dustin holding Jabari Parker's jersey. Of course, he's injured. I did offer to stand in for him tonight, should they need me, as the last guy on the bench. They looked at my jump shot and said, nah, it's okay. You can just watch from the stands.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Live at Daybreak. I'm Susan Kim.
And I'm Pete Zervakis. Of course, Elise Preston keeping an eye on traffic for us this morning. And Alicia Wilson, after being the most popular person all through the weekend, Debbie Downer on this Monday morning with this forecast.
Happened, right? Along 41 North, 8-minute drive.
Let's go to Elise. Thanks. 6:32, a deadly shooting near a Milwaukee park. You first saw that story as breaking news last night at 10. This morning, we have new information to share with you.
So this morning, we're learning more about the moments leading up to that shooting. And our Sean Gallagher is live at 22nd and Burleigh. That's near Moody Park on Milwaukee's north side with the new information that he's learned this morning.
A Racine police officer is on routine administrative leave this morning after he fired his gun at a man allegedly pointing a bow and arrow at him. Officers were responding to a domestic disturbance call when that happened. Racine police say an officer fired his weapon at that man but did not hit him. Racine police continue to investigate. Anyone with information should call them. We also expect to learn more this morning about the semi-truck driver accused of causing a crash that injured a 12-year-old girl. Police say he slammed into the back of 2 cars Friday night on 894. Look at the backup this collision caused. Allegedly, the semi-driver was stopped just 4 hours earlier for not having a proper driver's license and was taken off the road.
It's 6:35, 8 o'clock this morning.
It's also the first day of classes on campus at Marquette. This morning, the university's president, along with other university leaders, going to hand out free breakfast sandwiches to celebrate. College kids, free food. Say no more. The first 400 students to arrive going to get one of those sandwiches. And students at UW-Milwaukee will be settling in tomorrow. Nearly 4,000 new and returning students are expected to move into the dorms. Classes at UWM don't start until September 5th, but officials have set up dozens of activities and events this week for the incoming freshman class.
All these first day of school stories. All right, let's get over to Alicia Wilson. Time running out to enjoy. Yeah, I was just down there over the weekend. So much energy, lots of people taking in all sorts of events. Really cool place.
Even when it's not buck season.
Yeah.
Great place to be.
Up next, President Trump at the G7 summit, the big announcement that he made overnight about the trade war with China.
Plus, you probably know to keep your credit card away from strong magnets, but what about leather or denim? We'll explain.
And along with the rain, you could see a few thunderstorms today. Alicia Wilson will tell you when the sunshine returns. We'll be back in just 60 seconds.
Well, Susan and Vince, you might be wondering how we secured an uninterrupted sit-down with one of the busiest agents in basketball. We suggested Greek food for lunch.
Giannis against Dotson. Not much of a contest.
Just like his client, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Alex Saratzis is born in Greece.
Because now the main course is out.
Oh, boy. He likes Greek food, so we have something in common.
So, see, we started with one little table, and now just 2 of us are already at
This is Greek food, man.
Over lunch at Ad-lib in Chicago, Alex reflected on how that skinny kid the Bucks drafted back in 2013.
The thing that makes me special in the game is what I'm unselfish point guard.
Became a global superstar.
I think on-court performance is #1.
That's obvious, but Alex says Giannis's life story of growing up in poverty makes him one of the world's most marketable athletes.
You could point to so many people around the world that kind of grew up in that environment that he did, and want to be successful, so they look up to him.
Look at this crowd Giannis drew in the Philippines in 2017. Last month, fans in France flocked to him after the Bucks sold out a game in Paris. But Alex still remembers the lack of a crowd at one of Giannis's first ever games at the Bradley Center.
It must have been not even a third full.
Different story now. The Bucks are title contenders for the second year in a row. Last spring, a national TV audience saw just how rowdy the new Fiserv Forum can get during the playoffs.
Do I think Giannis accelerated the growth? Absolutely. But I wouldn't attribute it entirely to him. You know, I think it's, as an organization as a whole, they've done a wonderful job.
He thinks Giannis and the city have developed together.
He grew up, and he's growing up to be a man in the city of Milwaukee. I think he's always going to appreciate that.
To continue that growth, the Bucks are expected to offer their star a Supermax contract this summer.
Is he a client that you could see staying in one team for his whole career?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, you know, with everybody talks about his impending free agency, I think everything is open. I think he's someone who could easily say, I'd like to be in Milwaukee for my entire career. He could, depending on how the team goes, could say, I need a change. He won't let me think that far ahead. He'll say, my focus right now is to win a championship.
And as Giannis focuses on a title run, his agent thinks fans should too.
Do you think this is kind of a once-in-a-generation, maybe once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the people of Milwaukee to have this guy playing in their backyard?
Absolutely. And I think once he's done playing in the NBA, there will be the generation that grew up watching him that's going to lament not having had more of an opportunity to watch Giannis.
Alex thinks Giannis's play this season gives him a great chance to win a second straight MVP. Of course, the top goal, as you heard, an NBA title. First things first, though, Giannis really wants his team to win this weekend's All-Star game. Now, Alex and I covered a wide range of topics in that interview. Didn't have time for them all in the story, Susan and Vince, but we'll have some digital extras dropping through the day today at TMJ4.com. Susan and Vince, when police officer Gary Belzer's liver started to fail in 2014, he often wondered, understandably, why me? Belzer didn't think that anyone else in the small city of Port Washington understood what he was going through, but he was wrong.
It's been almost 9 months since Officer Gary Belzer received a new liver, but he vividly remembers the internal bleeding, hernias, and constant fatigue that started when he was diagnosed with non-alcoholic cirrhosis hepatitis in 2014.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, I didn't do anything to have liver failure.
As he anxiously awaited a transplant last year, Belzer met Emery Burling, now an 8th grader.
I could finally feel like I had someone to relate with me.
That's because Emery battled the same illness and received a new liver of her own in January 2018.
Talking with her really helped me prepare for what I needed to do and what was going to come eventually.
What came was a successful transplant procedure followed by 5 months of grueling recovery before Belzer could return to work. Emery supported Belzer and his family through that process. But she says her friendship with the officer has helped her, too.
It made me feel good, and like now I have someone always looking out for me no matter what.
And no matter what means this is a friendship the two will maintain long into the future.
Do you guys feel like family now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a new family.
Mm-hmm.
And we're bonded together by the liver. The thing that wanted to kill us both.
Yeah.
Now save both of us.
Both Gary and Emery remain on medication. They do have to go in for regular checkups and blood work to their respective doctors. But so far, Vince and Susan, very happy to report this morning, both doing very well since those transplants. To you, he was Chucky.
He was.
Danelle Meinzer worked in the office here at Northwest Lutheran when Charles Irvine was a student.
He did everything with a smile.
She calls Irvine compassionate. It's fitting he became a police officer.
At school, he just wanted to help people, so it was very understandable that this was something that he would do.
Irvine's death, not surprisingly, has also shaken his coworkers.
What's the mood been like around MPD, just from what you observed?
It's been very somber.
Milwaukee Police Chaplain George Papachristou has been providing support services to officers who need them.
We look at this as an opportunity for officers to come together in solidarity, and not a us versus them mentality, but more of a how do you look out for each other.
He says even within a large department like MPD, everyone feels the pain.
An officer directly involved, partners, those that work alongside him at the district, very, very difficult for them. And as you go away from that district, there's still effects because he has touched so many lives.
Irvine's family continues to ask for privacy, and a liaison officer will help them with the tough task ahead.
A law enforcement death and all the associated arrangements that must take place are overwhelming, even for a department. So for a family, you can only imagine how difficult that is.
Danelle is supporting the Irvine family, too, the best way she knows how.
We pray, because that's what we're taught to do.
Now, chaplains like Papa Christo are often asked to just listen to an officer who's distressed, but they do make an assessment and can, if needed, then link that officer up with other resources like peer support or mental health counseling.